That next coming up is Frank Brown and the game at PMC. The following is a WSRN Sports presentation.
Swarthmore basketball is on the air. Good evening, everyone. This is Frank Brown along with Scott Miner and Dick Kamen speaking to you from PMC Colleges in Chester, where we will be bringing you very shortly the varsity game between the PMC Cadets and the Garnet of Swarthmore. Right now we have the JV game just coming to a conclusion on the court in front of us. And with 1:43 left in the ball game, the score is 62 for PMC and 39 for Swarthmore. We thought the JV game would be over about 15 minutes ago, but there have been a lot of fouls this half. The halftime score was 33 for PMC and 10 for Swarthmore. So the Garnet was out of this game pretty early. Swarthmore comes into the game with an overall record of 1 win and 7 losses. In the Middle Atlantic Conference, its record is 1-6, which puts it even with Haverford at the bottom of the league, at the bottom of the Southern College Division. PMC comes in with a much better record. They're 6-3 overall. They're 4-1 in the conference, and their only loss is to Ursinus, which is undefeated in conference play. Swarthmore, of course, is coming off a heartbreaking 80-79 overtime loss to Ursinus Saturday night, and will be trying to break a 3-game losing streak. And we see in the papers today that Swarthmore has been established as a 6-point underdog in this ball game. So PMC isn't favored by much, and we think we'll have a pretty good ball game for you. And now here are the probable starting lineup for the ball game. First of all, for Swarthmore, starting at 1 forward is number 41, Duffy Burns, 6 feet 3 inches tall, a sophomore from Chambersburg, Pennsylvania. The other forward is number 13, Bill Miller, from Mannheim, Pennsylvania, a junior. He's 6 feet even. The center is number 33, Ken Jewell, a freshman, 6'5", from Erie, Pennsylvania. And starting in the back court are number 23, Dick Bepler, a 6-foot freshman from Millersville, Pennsylvania, and Don Mizell, number 31, a 6-foot freshman from Jacksonville, Florida. For the cadets of PMC, 1 forward will be number 44, Skip Gamble. He's a junior, 6 feet 3 inches tall, from Chester, Pennsylvania. The other forward is a new transfer student, number 14, Bob Evans. He's also a junior, 6 feet 4 inches tall, from Haverford, Pennsylvania. The center, and we're going to have a little trouble with his name tonight, I'll warn you about that right now, is number 50, Mike Stasinski. He's a sophomore, 6 feet 6 inches tall, from Chester. In the back court are number 20, Mike LaFlamme, a senior, 6 feet 1, from Drexel Hill, Pennsylvania, and number 52, Al Frohl, a sophomore, 6'2", from Philadelphia. There are now 46 seconds remaining in the JV game, and the score is PMC 62, Swarthmore 41. We have with us in the press box today a special guest, Dick Kamen, who left the team on Saturday and will be helping us out with the broadcast. And Dick, how does this game look?
Well, Swarthmore will be in for a real tough game tonight from PMC. Playing on their home court, PMC is much stronger than anywhere else. An example is against Ursinus. This about 1 week ago, PMC went on to romp by some 30 points. And of course, Ursinus just nipped Swarthmore the last game. However, if Swarthmore hustles and gets good games out of their big men, they do have a chance to win this game. We'll see as the game develops.
Just a word to continue what Dick was saying. Usually a home team gets about a 6-point advantage for playing on their own court. However, tonight, PMC must be given at least 12 points because of the type of court. At one end of the court, the basket is attached directly to the wall, and when shooting, There is no give to the basket, which should present some problem to the Garnet shooters. They're not used to this. The other end is normal basket, and they will have to adjust at halftime. The horn you just heard is the end of the JV game. The final score was PMC 67, Swarthmore 41. The court here is also very small, and although not filled, the few spectators in it do manage to make quite a bit of noise. There are now about 150 people in the gym area shouting and whistling. The game shapes up. PMC has a height advantage spread over the whole court. Their center, Mike Sadzinski, is taller than anyone else on the Garnet, and all of their players are 6'1" or over. Starting for the Garnet, the big man in the middle will be Ken Jewell at 6'5". Now, talking to the coach before game time in the locker room, he expects PMC to start out with a zone on their home court. He mentioned that the PMC zone is a very tight zone, and our only hope of winning will be in matching their defense with our defense. The Garnet will probably start out in a zone defense with two men sliding over to where the ball is.
As Scott mentions, this is going to be a very noisy game, and there's a much more vocal PMC crowd than we have had in our last 3 meetings here. Now, as the cadets come into this game, there just may be a chance that they'll take Swarthmore lightly. The cadets have been playing very good ball this season and have high hopes of finishing among the top 4 in the Southern College Division, which will put them in the final playoff. Their hopes will be bolstered in second semester when a 6'8" transfer student, Jack Wynn, joins them. And Wynn will be available and probably will be in the lineup when the cadets come to Swarthmore on February 14th for the return match. PMC may remember that Swarthmore has put up pretty good fights here in Chester the last 3 years. Last year, the Garnet lost 62-59 in a game that they should have won. The year before that, the Garnet won by 2 points. And the year before that, Swarthmore won by 9 here at PMC. At Swarthmore last year, the Garnet won by 9 in a game in which they dominated a lot more than the final score indicated. The JVs just made it look close in the last couple of minutes. Or actually the varsity reserves. Neither team has yet made its appearance on the court as the janitors are sweeping up after the JV game. Dick Bepler comes into the game as Swarthmore's leading scorer, and he is averaging about 17 points a game, but his average took a turn for the worse at Ursinus as they got only 8 points on a 3 for 18 shooting performance from the floor. And the Garnet is definitely going to need a little bit better shooting if they are to win this ball game. The noise that you hear is for the cadets of PMC who have just come onto the court. Scott mentioned the height advantage that the PMC center, Mike Sadzinski, will have over Ken Jewell. It's only 1 inch, but the advantage is also 25 pounds. And Ken may take a bit of a beating under the boards, we'll have to see. And Dick, what's it like under those boards?
Well, Ken's a pretty good rebounder on this team. I think on the season right now, he's leading the team in rebounds. He's not as strong and muscular as his opponents, but Ken is more and more as the season goes on, he's learning to maneuver. As proved in the past, it's not the taller man that gets the rebound, it's the one who knows how the most. and Ken is getting this needed savvy. Again, we'll see as the game progresses how he'll do. Frank?
Despite its rather dismal record so far, the Garnet has compiled a pretty good defensive record, one that is placed at 23rd among the nation's small colleges in allowing only 66.9 points per game per opponent. PMC is also coming in with quite a defensive record. They're 12th in the nation in this category. And Drexel, whom we already played and lost to, is ranked at the moment 5th in the nation in this category. We do not have a very high-scoring conference, but certainly a good defensive one. The Garnet has just come onto the court. And Dick, it's certainly true that our defense this year has looked a lot sharper than last year's. What are we doing different?
This year we're playing a zone defense, whereas last year we used almost entirely man-to-man. The zone defense is brought to us by the new assistant coach, Jim Stanfield, who learned this zone while coaching under Jack McCloskey, as coach of Wake Forest. The defense is a 1-2-2 type of defense where a lot of pressure is put, rather than on the ball, on the passing lane. The idea being to turn the ball back the direction in which it came and not run yourself to death as they move the ball around the court. So far, the defense has been fairly successful. However, it's very intricate, and mistakes are common, especially on this young team.
Change the subject briefly. Also going on tonight in the Swarthmore Fieldhouse is a big wrestling match against the University of Delaware. And we are told that WSRN back in the studios will bring you the final score of that match as soon as it ends, as we have correspondents on the scene. The wrestling team, incidentally, is now 3-0, having really shellacked PMC 36-2 in the Fieldhouse Saturday. And this follows earlier victories over Muhlenberg by 30-5 score and over Albright by a 22-8 score. And I know Coach Gomer Davies is very happy with his squad. Also tomorrow night in Sharpless Pool, there's going to be a swimming meet. And if you haven't seen one this year, you might drop down and cheer the swimmers on. Next Swarthmore basketball game after this one will be Saturday night in the Fieldhouse at 8:30 against Philadelphia Pharmacy. And Pharmacy has a fine team this year, and they've been having a history of one-point battles with Swarthmore. I believe the last 2 years were 1 and 2 points respectively. So you can look for a pretty good ball game right there. This is Swarthmore's last road game before the exam break at the end of the semester, and after this broadcast we won't be on again until February 7th, hopefully, from Washington College in Chestertown, Maryland, in another league battle, one that should prove to be a pretty good game, as Washington always has a quick running team, although not that tall, and it's always an exciting team. In this game, PMC is banking heavily on a transfer, Bob Evans, who will be starting at forward for them. He only became eligible after January 1st. He's a transfer from York Junior College. He's 6 feet 4 inches tall, and his defense isn't supposed to be too great, but his offense is supposed to be very strong. And it must be if he moves right into the PMC lineup in only a second game of eligibility. PMC also hopes to get some use out of its captain, George Shakora, in this game. Shakora hurt his ankle before the season began and has not seen any action to date, but he is in uniform and may get into the ball game. He is capable of playing either at forward or guard. One factor in this ball game may be PMC's bench, which is quite strong this year. One guy who's not starting is Skip McCauley, a sophomore guard. And if you remember, Dick, he's the man who sunk us last year.
Yes, Scott? Excuse me, Frank. I've just been down on the floor talking to one of the PMC coaches, and McCauley, it looks like McCauley will start. So, the starting lineup will consist of Gamble, Frall, Stadzinski, McCauley, and the Flame.
Well, having just said how much they're depending on Evans, they moved him out of the lineup. McCauley is a junior, 5 feet 9 inches tall, from Yeadon, Pennsylvania. And last year he sunk us with about 4 foul shots in the last 30 seconds. He is a good ball handler, good hustler, and plays good defense as well. Also on the PMC bench now, besides Evans, lending good strength there, is Steve Pauls, who you may remember as their quarterback on their football team this fall. He's a sophomore coming up from the JVs, where he averaged 20 points a game last year, and he is capable of scoring a whole bunch. Scott?
Just some 8-game statistics before the start of the game. The leading scorer is Dick Bepler with a 17.3 average, and the leading rebounder is Ken Jewell with 63 rebounds in the 8 games. Field goal percentage for the team is 36.7%, with Craig Deshay leading the team at 48%. Free throw percentage, the team is shooting 63%. Dick Bepler leading 28 out of 32 free throws for 87.5%. One department in which Swarthmore will have to get a lot better in if they expect to have an easier game will be in turnovers. Through the last 8 games, they've lost approximately 180 balls. They've only recovered the ball 125 times. If a team, supposing a team shoots about 40% during a game, they have lost at least 40 points in this manner. Both teams have been warming up for a while, and the game should be starting shortly. The only people it looks like we're waiting for are the referees to show up on the court. Just looking at PMC warm-ups, Mike Stadzinski, who stands at 6'6", is not like most of the centers we've seen this year. Most of the tall ones have not been too heavy and don't seem to be able to move their weight around properly to play in the middle. But Stadzinski seems to be very strong, able to stuff the ball with a 2-step start. Hopefully, Ken Jewell will be able to keep him away from the basket tonight and cut down on his scoring.
Stadzinski is coming off a very strong performance, incidentally. In his last game, he picked up 21 points, and he had 20 in the other game that he's had since vacation. So we're going to have to watch out for him. He may try to really put him in from close range. And they do have in McCauley, LaFlame, and a couple of the other people on their team, the ball handlers, who can get it into him. This PMC team is completely local, with the exception of the last man on the squad, Bill Swarty. Everyone is from Philadelphia or from Delaware County. And from the noise of the crowd, it sounds like they all brought their families along, and girlfriends and things. Actually, what it is a bunch of rowdy fraternity men across the court. From TKE frat, as you may be able to hear from their singing. The teams continue to shoot, and we continue to desperately try to find something to fill in with while we wait for the referees to make their appearance. Next Tuesday night in the Fieldhouse, Swarthmore will be playing Drexel for the second time. And this is going to be a difficult assignment, as Drexel is sort of the perennial basketball champion of the Southern College Division. And they are coming off a victory, a 16-point victory over Swarthmore at Drexel, 76-60 in a game you heard on WSRN just before vacation. They have continued their winning ways, although they got quite a scare from Wilkes before winning by 1 point in overtime. And they, along with their Sinus, currently lead the conference with perfect records. Also in contention in the division, in prime contention, are PMC and Franklin and Marshall, with Dickinson and Johns Hopkins also in the running. For Swarthmore now, the team must look to fulfill the role of spoilers. They play almost all the contenders, with the exception of F&M, between now and the end of the season, and they'd like to knock a few of those teams off. Dick, of the teams we've played against so far, which ones have particularly impressed you?
Well, of course, the best team we've played against this year was Wheaton of Illinois. There was a good turnout for this game. You recall it was on the Monday night before Christmas vacation started. In this particular game, Wheaton, on their Eastern trip, stopped at Swarthmore, more or less as a chance for their alumni, of which they have a great deal in this area, to see them play. Wheaton was big and strong and performed in every facet of the game very well. In the final score, though Swarthmore lost, I believe they played one of their finest games of the season. Of course, of our conference foes, Drexel has been the toughest, and I believe with breaks going the other way in several of the other games, the record could easily be reversed at this point. What we can do now is just hope that we can stop this losing streak now and get on the road to recovery.
Just a reminder that this evening we had a wrestling match with Delaware. It is probably over right now, and we hope you will stay tuned to WSRN to hear the final score. It probably was a very tough wrestling match, but this year's wrestling team seems to be doing very well. Now the referees have stepped onto the court. They're shaking hands with the PMC coach, and the color guard has lined up at the far end of the gym from where we are broadcasting. In a little while, we'll have a moment of silence while the color guard does its marching.
Well, this is a new bid. We haven't seen this even at PMC up until now. It's unlike the football games. The American flag hasn't seemed in evidence in the field houses around the conference, and we haven't had any national anthem or anything like that so far. But we're waiting. The color guard is waiting patiently behind the PMC basket while the cadets continue to shoot.
Frank, it looks like it won't be just a moment of silence, but there will be a national anthem. A record player has been set up near the scorer's table, and I would assume the record they're going to put on will be the Star-Spangled Banner.
As I look down on the floor now and notice the referees, Swarthmore has gotten a break in the officiating. Usually at PMC on their home court, you find a lot of trouble with homer refs, or refs favoring giving the home court team an unfair advantage. One of the referees is Art McNally, who you may recognize as the NFL football ref. He is, having played in many games he's officiated, I can tell you he's one of the finest around. The other ref I don't notice, but I don't recognize, but if he's working with McNally on a team, he's probably pretty good. This is a big break for the Garnet.
I see no reason why the game should not start. Both teams have been out on the court for a while, and they're probably both getting stale just shooting away at the basket. The Garnet seems to be having trouble hitting on the basket that is attached to the wall. They're probably not used to it. The buzzer or air horn that has just sounded, both teams are going to their benches, and they'll have the last conversation with the coach as the color guard is now standing at attention underneath the basket.
Bill Miller is now at midcourt meeting with the PMC captain, George Shikora. and with the two officials. And now here comes Duffy Burns, a late arrival, who I guess just found out that he is also serving as a co-captain today. And now they return to their respective benches. This is WSRN, Swarthmore College Radio, the voice of the Garnet on the road. And the color guard is now about to get attention. I think, no, they're going to introduce starting lineups first. For Swarthmore, Phil Miller, Don Mizell, Ken Jewell, Dick Bepler, and Duffy Burns, the Swarthmore lineup. And now you're going to get the noise, I imagine, as they introduce PMC. First man out is Michael Flame, who's wearing number 22, although the program has him wearing number 20. Also, Al Prowl. Bob Evans, PMC can't seem to make up its mind. Now they have Evans back in the starting lineup. Skip Gamble. And the center, big 6'6" Mike Stadzinski. So, according to this, they have moved McCauley back to the bench and put Evans in. Either way they do it, they've got a pretty powerful bench. Swarthmore moving out onto the court as the color guard continues to wait under the basket. Now everyone stands. Swarthmore returns to the bench. And I believe we'll be having our national anthem. With the playing of our national anthem, we are just about ready for basketball here at PMC. We have to give Duffy Burns credit for keeping a straight face. When the team came out and then the color guard interrupted them, Duffy was stranded on the wrong side of the court, away from the bench, and was standing there about 3 feet onto the court all by himself. And I think he's glad that we're going to be getting underway now. PMC also onto the court. Mike Stadzinski will jump against Ken Jewell, and the ball game is underway. Tap is controlled by Swarthmore. Duffy Burns gets it, drives into the basket, tries to pass to Bepler and throws it out of bounds. PMC's ball. For the cadets, LaFlame gives it to Skip McCauley, who is starting after all. He comes into the forecourt, gives a bounce pass into the right corner to Gamble, back to McCauley, and back to Gamble. To McCauley again, he shoots for the foul line, switch. Skip McCauley. hitting, and PMC leads 2-0. Bill Miller has it in the forecourt for Swarthmore, gives off in the left corner to Bepler, back to Miller, to Mizell. Coming around to the right side, he gives to Miller, dribbling around at the top of the key. Gives to Ken Jewell on the left side, he holds high, dribbles towards the middle, hands back to Bill Miller. He gives it to Mizell, he gives a bounce pass to Jewell, who slides out of bounds with the ball. And it's PMC's ball, leading 2-0. For the Cadets, McCauley dribbling into the forecourt. Comes to the top of the key and gives a bounce pass on the right side to Gamble, or rather to Frau. Back to McCauley. He drives to the foul line, gives a pass to LaFlame all alone on the baseline in the left corner. He puts it in from 10 feet. Mike LaFlame, and PMC leads 4-0 with 18:43 left in the first half. Bill Miller into the forecourt for the Garnet. Gives to Mizell at the foul line. He gives off to Dick Bepler. He puts it up. No good from about 15 feet. Ball out of bounds. And it's PMC's ball on the sideline. McCauley passes it into LaFlame, who gives it right back to McCauley. Skip McCauley. Bring it into the forecourt. Holding above his head. Gives to Frau, back to McCauley, and around on the left side to Bob Evans. Into the corner comes now to Frau. He puts it up and hits from about 15 feet in the right corner. PMC is hot, and they're off to a quick 6-0 lead. Miller into the forecourt for Swarthmore. Gives to Bepler. Back to Miller, and around on the right side to Mizell. To Bepler on the right corner. Dick tries to drive, whistle blows. The foul is called on number 14, Bob Evans of PMC. That's the first foul in the ball game. And Dick Bepler goes to the line for Swarthmore. He's the Garnet's leading foul shooter. The shot is good. Swarthmore breaks into the scoring column, and the score is PMC 6, Swarthmore 1. McCauley into the forecourt for the Cadets. Comes around on the left side to Evans, right back to McCauley. Drives to his right. Gives a bounce pass into the corner to Frau. Return pass is stolen away by Mizell. Feed goes into Dick Bepler, who puts the layup in. Duffy Burns, correction. And the score is 6-3. McCauley into the forecourt for the Cadets. To Evans, and around on the left side to LaFlame. Batted out of bounds by Burns. PMC retains possession. LaFlame will pass it into place. He gives it to Evans. Evans dribbles to the top of the key and gives back on the left side to LaFlame. Into Frau and to McCauley in the corner. His pass batted down by Bepler. He feeds Bill Miller, tries to drive in for a layup. It's kicked out of bounds by PMC. Swarthmore's ball right under the basket. 17-13 left in the first half, and the score is 6-3. Shot by Bepler, no good. Loose ball picked off by Stasinski. He gives off to Frau and to McCauley into the forecourt for the Cadets. PMC still leads 6-3. McCauley cross court to Evans, back to McCauley, and into the corner to Frau. Back to McCauley, holds on the right side to Evans at the top of the key to Frau, who tries to pass into Stasinski from the corner. The ball is batted out of bounds by Swarthmore, and it's still PMC's ball. LaFlame passing into Frau. He dribbles to the foul line, can't get free for a shot, so he gives off to McCauley. McCauley holding high right, bounces the ball once, gives it to Frau. And on the left side to LaFlame. LaFlame dribbles to the top of the key, gives off on the left side to Evans. Evans holding and gives it into the left corner to Frau. His shot is blocked. Dick Bepler comes down with it, gives to Duffy Burns, off to Don Mizell in the forecourt. Mizell in trouble, gives off in the left corner to Burns, who feeds it into Ken Jewell, who puts it in from point-blank range. Ken Jewell hitting, and Swarthmore has come up with 5 straight points to narrow the PMC lead to 6-5. McCauley into the forecourt for the Cadets. He gives off to Evans on the left side, back to McCauley. McCauley decides to shoot from about 20 feet on the right side. No good. Rebound by Duffy Burns. He gives the lead pass to Bill Miller in the forecourt. Miller tries to bounce one into Burns. He can't control, and it goes off to PMC, to Frau, and now to LaFlame, who brings it across the 10-second stripe. LaFlame in the forecourt, gives to McCauley. McCauley bouncing it on the right side, gives off to Evans, who shoots from the foul line. No good. Rebound Frau, puts it up. No good. Referee's whistle blows, and a foul is called on Duffy Burns. First one on Duffy and the first one on Swarthmore with 15:33 left in the half. The score is PMC 6, Swarthmore 5, and Al Frau, who already has 2 points, will be on the foul line. Frau to shoot 2. The first one is good. That makes it 7-5. The second one is also good. 4 points for Al Frau. PMC 8, Swarthmore 5. 15:28 left in the half. Bill Miller in the forecourt for the Garnet. Gives off to Bepler. Back to Miller and to Mizell now. Holding high right. Running to the left side to Bepler. Gives off in the corner to Burns. Who's in trouble, gets it out to Miller and to Mizell. He turns around, puts it up from 15, just to the right of the foul line. It's good. Don Mizell breaks into the scoring. He's been playing very well lately, and it's 8-7 PMC. McCauley has it in the forecourt for the Cadets. He gets Evans at the top of the key and into Frau. The corner, Frau hits from about 20 feet in the right corner, and he now has 6 points. He's the high man for PMC, and the Cadets lead 10-7. Miller into the forecourt for the Garnet. Bounce pass to Mizell and into the right corner to Burns. His pass, intended for Miller, is touched by number 14, Evans, who knocks it out of bounds. And Miller puts in play for the Garnet, gives it to Bepler, right back to Miller. And to Bepler again, into the left corner to Jewell, and out of Mizell. Mizell drives, tries to hand off to Burns. Taken away by LaFlame. He falls down. No, he stepped out of bounds, and it's Swarthmore's ball. Bounce pass comes into Bepler in the corner. He gives off to Burns. He tries to drive, and whistle blows. He is fouled by LaFlame. Second foul on the Cadets. First on LaFlame. Duffy Burns to the foul line. He's 5 for 6 from the line this season. His shot is up and good. He hits another. 10-8. PMC leads by a bucket, and they have the ball as McCauley dribbles the ball across the 10-second stripe into the forecourt. McCauley still dribbling with the ball as he comes to his right now and passes to his left to Evans, right back to McCauley. Gives it to Stasinski on the right side, turns around, puts it up, and good for about 8 feet, and he was fouled by Jewell. Scott?
Stasinski seems to be able to move into the middle all by himself and not be challenged by anybody. He's also strong enough. He was hit as he was letting go of the ball, but still managed to put the ball in. His shot is good. The score is 13-8. Jewell puts it into Miller as Miller brings it up court.
Miller into the forecourt for the Garnet. Mizell on the right side. Back to Miller at the top of the key, and to Jewell now on the right side. His pass to Miller almost gets away. Goes into the corner for Bepler. He shoots, no good. Rebound Stasinski to McCauley, who comes down very quickly for the Cadets. Drives to the low post, tries to put it up. He's stopped. Ken Jewell takes the ball, passes to Bill Miller, and a foul is called. Let's see, who is that one on? That's on McCauley. One on McCauley, and Bill Miller goes to the foul line for the Garnet. His shot is short. Rebound LaFlame. He gives off to Frau, right back to LaFlame and to McCauley, who will bring it into the forecourt. He dribbles to the top of the key, gives off to Evans, back to McCauley on the right side. Into the corner to Frau, right back to McCauley. Tries to pass for Stasinski. Deflected right to the hands of LaFlame under the basket, who puts it in. And LaFlame has 4 points. The Cadets have run up a big lead now, 15-8, as they've scored 5 in a row. Miller to Bepler. on the left side for the Garnet in the forecourt. Bepler holds, gets it to Miller, turns around, puts it up from about 5 feet. It's good. Miller right in the middle of the lane when he got that return pass. First bucket for Bill, and it's 15-10 as Swarthmore goes into the double figures. 12:35 left in the half. Stadzinski has it for PMC, gives a baseline feed to LaFlame, goes up with it, no good. Rebound by Duffy Burns, who gives to Bepler. He brings it into the forecourt for Swarthmore, gives a nice pass to Miller, but he can't get free, so Miller brings it out to the top of the key, sets up a play. He holds, gives to Bepler. Bepler to the foul line. He's in trouble. Maintains possession. Gets it off to Mizell. He drives, puts it up off the rim. No good. Loose ball. Ken Jewell picks it up for the Garnet. Goes up for a shot from about 5 feet off the rim. No good. Ball is loose again. McCauley comes down with it for PMC. To Evans. Stops. Pops from 10 feet. No good. Rebound Jewell. To Bepler and to Miller, who brings it into the forecourt for Swarthmore. 11:50 left in the half. PMC 15, Swarthmore 10. This is WSRN, the voice of the Garnet on the road. Miller to Bepler, right back to Miller. He turns around, shoots from about 15 feet. No good. Rebound by McCauley, who brings it into the forecourt for the Cadets. To Evans, back to McCauley. As Craig Deshay gets set to come into the ball game for the Garnet, Bob Evans now has it at the top of the key, into the corner to Frau, and he hits with 3 shots, 3 for 3 for Frau from that corner, 8 points in all for Al Frau, and it's 17-10 PMC. Miller into the forecourt for Swarthmore, to Mizell, back to Miller. Holds it over his head at the top of the key, now passes to Jewell, back to Miller. Miller bouncing the ball, taking his time. Gives to Jewell, high right back to Miller again. And to Bepler on the left side. Bepler dribbles to his left, gives off to Mizell in the corner. Mizell brings it out again. Gives it to Miller. Miller calling for a play. His pass is kicked by Bob Evans of PMC, so it's Swarthmore's ball. At the side, Miller will put it into play for the Garnet. He passes to Mizell. Deshay is in for the Garnet now, replacing Duffy Burns. Miller to Bepler, back to Miller, and to Mizell. He shoots from 20 feet on the right side, no good. Fight for the rebound, whistle blows, and it's Swarthmore's ball as it goes out off PMC. The inbounds pass comes to Bepler, who shoots from the left corner and hits. Dick Bepler with his first basket of the game, and all he has 3 points, and it's PMC 17, Swarthmore 12. McCauley into the forecourt. He gives off there to Bob Evans. Evans taking his time at the top of the key, back to McCauley, to Evans, and back to McCauley again. Into the right corner to Frau. Good feed to Stadzinski, who goes in, misses. Rebound by Miller. He brings it into the forecourt, gives to Bepler. He stops, puts it up from 15. Good. 2 in a row for Bepler. Swarthmore is down by only 3. 17-14. 9:40 left in the first half. McCauley into the forecourt. To Frau, back to McCauley. To Evans. And to Frau. There he goes for the corner again. It's no good. Rebound Miller. Into the forecourt where he's tied up by McCauley. He gets a pass into Bepler, though. Shoots no good. Rebound up, no good. Jewell puts it up off the rim. No good. Rebound by Evans, finally. The Swarthmore had a lot of tries at the basket. Feed goes to Stadzinski, who can't sink it on the layup. Mizell with the rebound goes up from the foul line now. No good. Loose ball. And picked up by McCauley at PMC. McCauley quickly into the forecourt, and now he slows it down. Mizell tries to steal from him, fouls. To Frau, back to McCauley. He shoots off the rim, no good, from about 20 feet. Rebound Mizell to Miller, who loses the ball for a minute, regains possession. Into the forecourt. Bill Miller bouncing the ball at the top of the key. Gives off to Mizell on the right side, back to Miller. And to Bepler. To Miller now. Looks for the shot, doesn't see it. He gives up to Mizell, and he'll take it from 20. No good. Fight for the rebound. And Paul Schechtman, in the meantime, comes into the game for Swarthmore along with Jerry Whitson. So we have a new backcourt. Mizell and Miller sit down. It will be Swarthmore's ball. And the inbound pass is stolen by McCauley. He gives to LaFlame. He holds it now and dribbles to his right. Gives to McCauley at the top of the key. McCauley now moves it to the right. Gives to Stasinski at the foul line. Turns around, puts it up, and in. Mike Stasinski with 5 points. And it's 19-14 PMC with 7:50 remaining in the first half. Whitson with the ball in the forecourt for Swarthmore. Holds high, gives up to Schechtman on the left side. Schechtman drives in, feeds Jewell. Shot is no good. Rebound by LaFlame. He brings it across the 10-second stripe into the forecourt for the Cadets. To McCauley now at the top of the key. McCauley holds, gives off. Into the corner to LaFlame. He's all alone. He puts it in. Mike LaFlame with 6 points. PMC up by 7 again, 21-14 as they've rolled off 4 in a row. Whitson into the forecourt to Schechtman, right back to Whitson. Holding the top of the key to Bepler now. Tries to pass to Whitson. No one is there. McCauley picks up the loose ball for PMC. And behind the back pass, LaFlame puts it in. 8 points for LaFlame, and now it's a great play by Skip McCauley. A great feed. Whitson in the forecourt for Swarthmore to Schechtman. Into the corner to Bepler. He feeds Jewell, drives in, and gives it to Deshay. Deshay goes up with a shot, no good, and the whistle blows. Foul is called. Let's see, I believe that one was on LaFlame. Scott?
The Garnet is trying to work the ball in close, and they're finding themselves with too many men underneath the basket and having trouble making their shot. The first shot by Deshay is good. And now back to Frank with the play-by-play.
Craig's second effort is no good, but he gets his own rebound, drives in and puts in the layup. Good effort by Craig Deshay, and that closes the margin up as McCauley now has it for PMC. He's in trouble in the backcourt. His pass intended for Frau, batted out of bounds by Whitson and Jewell jointly. And McCauley will put it into play. 23-17, PMC. LaFlame to McCauley. His shot is blocked. He gets it back, though, to LaFlame. No good. Rebound, Whitson. He gives the lead pass for Bepler. It's over his head. Bob Evans takes it away. Now the ball is taken away by Evans. Whitson picks it up and dribbles into the forecourt as the play is sloppy here in the first half with 6 minutes to go. The score is PMC 23, Swarthmore 17. Jewell to Deshay to Whitson at the top of the key. Now to Schechtman. Schechtman feeds Jewell under the basket. He puts it in. Garnet working the ball pretty well in this little sequence here, and it's 23-19 PMC. McCauley harassed in the backcourt, gets off to LaFlame. His cross-court pass is taken away by Dick Bepler. He feeds Schechtman, who tries to feed Whitson under the basket. It's taken away by Evans. Whitson picks it up as Evans falls down. Whistles blow, and we'll see what the call is. It's traveling on Evans, and it's Swarthmore's ball. Evans really took a fall there. And Schechtman will put it into play for the Garnet. Swarthmore has a chance to close the gap to within a bucket. Whitson gets the ball now, dribbling around at the top of the key. Pass intended for Bepler, batted out of bounds by Evans. Still Swarthmore's ball as Bepler gives into Whitson, back to Bepler, and to Whitson, holding at the top of the key. Passes around on the left side to Paul Schechtman. to Whitson, bounce pass to Bepler, turns around and puts it up from 8 feet. Dick Bepler with 7 points, and Swarthmore's to within 2 at 23-21. McCauley into the forecourt to Frau, into LaFlame now on the right side. To McCauley at the top of the key and around on the left side to Evans, back to McCauley. Into the corner to LaFlame, and now to Evans at the top of the key. Back to LaFlame in the corner. His pass goes off Ken Jewell's leg, and PMC will take the ball out of bounds. LaFlame passes it into McCauley for the Cadets. Evans in the corner to Studzinski. Tries to turn around, can't get the shot away. Ball's loose, picked up by McCauley. He gives off to Frau. He shoots for the corner and hits again. Al Frau goes into double figures with 10 points. And the Cadets lead 25-21 with 4:05 left in the first half. Whitson dribbles into the forecourt. The ball's taken away from him by McCauley, then taken away again by Scheckman. But the referee, I believe, has called a jump ball between Scheckman and McCauley. Tap controlled by PMC as LaFlame has it. Dribbles into the forecourt and gives to McCauley at the top of the key. McCauley comes around to his right, gives off the top of the key to Evans, back to McCauley, and into the corner to LaFlame. He tries to bounce pass for Studzinski, and it goes out of bounds. Swarthmore's ball. Scheckman gives the inbound speed to Whitson, who brings it across the 10-second stripe for the Garnet. Whitson holds at the top of the key. Bounce pass to Jewell. On the side is passed back to Whitson. It's stolen away by McCauley. He drives in and puts in a layup. Skip McCauley with 4 points, and PMC goes up by 6, 27-21. 3:18 left in the half. Scheckman into the forecourt for Swarthmore. To Whitson, back to Scheckman at the top of the key. He's going to shoot from 15, good. Paul Scheckman with his first points of the evening, and it's 27-23 PMC. McCauley into the forecourt for the Cadets. Bounces it to LaFlame on the right side in the corner. He's in trouble, so he gets it back out to McCauley and Evans at the top of the key. Scheckman pass into the corner to LaFlame. Studzinski with the rebound to Frau. Goes up for the shot, around and in. Al Frau laying it up and in. A very good move, and he has 12 points, 12 of PMC's 29, and it's 29-23 Cadets, 2.5 minutes left in the half. Scheckman into the forecourt for Swarthmore. He's double teamed, gets it across the court to Whitson, back to Scheckman at the top of the key. He's free, puts it up, around and in. Paul Scheckman with 2 quick baskets, and it's 29-25 PMC. Skip McCauley passes it across the 10-second stripe to Frau, to LaFlame, and now to McCauley at the top of the key. McCauley holds, gives off to LaFlame in the right corner. Cross-court pass to Evans. He tries to feed Frau from the foul line, but throws it out of bounds. And in a substitution, Bill Miller comes back in. So does Don Mizell. Also Jim Clymer into the ball game as Whitson sits down. So does Bepler. Clymer now shoots from the foul line, no good. And LaFlame comes down with the rebound. He gives off to McCauley. And McCauley now dribbles to his right, leaves it for Evans at the foul line. He goes up for the shot, no good. Rebound for Frau. And PMC calls time as Frau called that to avoid being tied up. Doc?
Both teams started out with a 3-2 zone, and they've stuck with that all the way up until now. The 2 men underneath for PMC have been playing on the outside of the foul lane and have been allowing Swarthmore to try to work it inside very fast to the layups. On the other hand, the Swarthmore men have been playing on the inside of the foul lane and have been having trouble covering the corner shots. And about 10 to 15 points have been scored on 20-footers, 15 to 20-footers from the corners. Unofficially, both Swarthmore and PMC have had about 12 turnovers. Dick?
Well, as it stands right now, Swarthmore is ahead in rebounding 16 to 13. The advantage has been to Swarthmore in the type of shooting that both teams have been doing. Both teams have been hitting from the outside, therefore not many balls have been going off the board, and the rebounds which have been gotten have been recovery type. This gives the smaller, more aggressive Swarthmore team the advantage. They're lining up now. PMC will take the ball out back to Frank.
The ball game now for Swarthmore: Clymer, Deshay, Mizell, Schechtman, and Miller. Inbounds pass comes to McCauley. McCauley dribbling around to his right. Gives to Stadzinski now into a flame. His return pass for Stadzinski, batted out of bounds by Clymer. And now putting the ball in play for PMC will be Steve Pauls, who has just come into the ball game for the first time. To a flame and to McCauley. Around to Frall now. Frall gives it to a flame. He goes up for a shot around. It's good. Doesn't count? The basket is no good. He was fouled before the shot. Craig Deshay committing the foul. That's the third on the Garnet and the first on Craig. On the foul line is Michael Flame for the first time. His shot is good. There haven't been many fouls in this ball game. PMC 30, Swarthmore 25, and we're in the last minute of the first half now. Bill Miller to Paul Schechtman for the Garnet. Schechtman at the top of the key to Miller, into the corner to Mizell. His shot is partially blocked, and Frau comes down with it, gives it to McCauley with 45 seconds left. He comes into the forecourt, gives to a flame in the corner. Now to Pauls. He shoots long. Fight for the rebound, and there's going to be a jump ball, I believe, between Stadzinski and Clymer. Craig Deshay also had a hand in there. Top controlled by PMC as Frau gets it, drives under the basket, puts it up, no good. Rebound Clymer, and he's walking with the ball as he tries to get free. PMC takes over with 32 seconds left and a 30-25 lead. Inbounds pass comes to Pauls, right back to McCauley. McCauley holding at the top of the key now. Dribbling to his left, his passes up to the right to Pauls, back to McCauley. And to Pauls again on the right side. McCauley now has it at the top of the key. And he gives up on the left side to Frau. Now back to McCauley, 4 seconds, 3 seconds. Stadzinski turns around, puts it up, no good for the rebound. Stadzinski puts it in after the buzzer, no basket. And the halftime score is PMC 30, Swarthmore 25. Here's Scott while I summarize the scoring.
Well, a recap of the first half action. PMC started out very fast with 6 straight points before Swarthmore got 1 point on the board. And that 5-point bulge just still holds now, with PMC leading 30-25. Both teams played a fairly steady offense for the first 7 minutes, and then both teams went into a running free-for-all, both playing very, very sloppy basketball, a lot of turnovers and a lot of running for about the next 7 minutes. In that time, Swarthmore closed the gap to 3 points, and then both settled down again. And the score at halftime is 30-25. The next half, Swarthmore will be shooting at the regular basket. They haven't missed too many shots. Hopefully the shots they've missed will go in now that they're shooting at a basket of the type they're familiar with. And now to Dick for some rebounding statistics and his view of the game.
Well, so far in the rebounding pictures, Swarthmore has a total of 17 rebounds, while PMC has 16. As I mentioned before, this is due to the scrambling type of ball on the ground that has resulted from not many missed shots. Individually, Dick Bepler has 2 so far, Ken Jewell 3, Mizell 2, Burns 2, Deshay 1, Miller 2, Clymer 1, Whitson 1, and there have been 3 team rebounds. PMC's 16 rebounds are distributed 6 offensive rebounds and 10 defensive rebounds. Significant is the number of offensive rebounds PMC has gotten. These are second shots at the basket. I believe this may be due to the inexperience of Swarthmore's big men in checking out.
While Frank is finishing up the halftime statistics, just a short word on the foul situation. Swarthmore has 3 team fouls. Nobody has more than, let's say, Deshay, Burns, and Jewell both have 1. PMC, on the other hand, only has 4. Mike LaFlame is high man with fouls, with 2 fouls. And Bob Evans and Skip McCauley have 1 apiece. Now here's Frank with the statistical wrap-up of the first half.
Thank you, Scott. First for Swarthmore, high man is Dick Bepler, 3 field goals, 1 for 1 from the foul line, 7 points. Paul Schechtman and Ken Jewell each have a pair of field goals for 4 points. Duffy Burns has a field goal, 1 for 1 from the foul line for 3. Craig Deshay with a field goal, 1 for 2 from the foul line for 3. Don Mizell with a field goal for 2. Bill Miller with a field goal, 0 for 1 from the foul line for 2. Jim Clymer and Jerry Whitson, nothing across. The totals for Swarthmore in the first half, 11 field goals, 3 for 5 from the foul line, 25 points. For PMC, the high man in the ball game is Al Frall, a sophomore. He's got 5 field goals, 2 of 2 from the foul line for 12 points. Next, Michael LaFlame with 4 field goals, 1 of 1 from the charity stripe for 9. Mike Studzinski is next, and the Garnet has contained him pretty well. He has 2 field goals, 1 of 1 from the foul line for 5 points. Skip McCauley has a pair of field goals for 4. And Steve Pauls and Bob Evans played without scoring. PMC's totals 13 field goals, 4 for 4 from the foul line, and a total of 30 points. That wraps up WSRN's first half coverage of the Swarthmore PMC basketball game with the halftime score, PMC 30, Swarthmore 25. We'll be sending you back to the studio now for a little bit of halftime entertainment, but don't go away because we'll be back with second half action of the Swarthmore PMC basketball game in exactly 9 minutes.
Well, I can't this Sunday. I'm playing golf, and the following Sunday I promised to take the kids to the beach. Man's got to spend some time with his kids, you know.
Yeah, sure.
Besides,
PMC colleges in Chester. And PMC calls time with 14:18 showing on the clock, and the cadets leading 37-33. Scott?
Both teams have stayed in their 3-2 zone to start out the second half, and Swarthmore at this point has scored 1 more point than PMC has. Dick?
So far in the second half, until the last play where Swarthmore missed a shot and PMC rebounded, PMC had not stopped the Swarthmore attack except when Swarthmore turned over. And a significant factor is currently in the second half, PMC has grabbed down 8 offensive rebounds and of course the 1 defensive rebound. Swarthmore's total is only 7 right now. So they are being slightly out-rebounded in the second half, but the important fact is the crucial offensive rebounds. PMC is getting more than 1 shot at the basket. Frank?
Thank you, Dick, and back to action as the inbound pass comes from McCauley to Pauls. Right back to McCauley and to Pauls again. To McCauley and into the left corner to Frall. His pass batted out of bounds by Bepler, and still PMC's ball. Frall puts it into play to McCauley and to Pauls. He'll shoot from 20. It's swished. Steve Pauls with 4 points. PMC up by 6 again, 39-33. Miller into the forecourt for Swarthmore. Calls his play. Gives it to Bepler at the foul line to Deshay. He's free from about 10 feet on the baseline. It's good. Craig Deshay with 5 points. And it's 39-35. Garnet back to within a pair of buckets. Studzinski has it in the forecourt for PMC. Doesn't know what to do with it. Now he gives it to Powell and to McCauley. McCauley holding high left, gives to Paul. At high right into the left corner to Frall. To McCauley. McCauley fakes, goes to the foul line, gets it back out to Pauls. Back to Skip McCauley. PMC taking their time. Now DePauls, he'll shoot from 20 again. It's long. Rebound Mizell. He's going to bring it into the forecourt himself. Drives down. Gives a good feed to Deshay. Turns around. Puts it up from 8 on the baseline. That's good. Deshay with 2 quick baskets. Swarthmore to within a bucket at 39-37 with 13 minutes left in the game. In the forecourt, McCauley has it for the Cadets. Gives up to Pauls. High right. Back to McCauley. Into the corner. To Frau. Shot is no good, and the rebound is by Bill Miller. Dribbles past Dzinski into the forecourt. Gives to Beppler. Almost loses it. He has it in the corner. Gives a bounce pass to Miller. Turns around, puts it up and in. From right in the middle of the lane. The game is tied at 39. Bill Miller now has 6 points. The score is knotted at 39 all. 12:33 left on the scoreboard clock. In the forecourt, PMC has it in the corner. LaFlame tied up in the corner. Gets it to Powell. Loose ball. Beppler has it for Swarthmore. Drives down. Ball's batted away from him right to Mizell. Mizell slows down the action now. Dribbles are at to the top of the key where he leaves it for Bill Miller. Swarthmore with a chance to go into the lead for the first time. Beppler to Deshay and to Miller. Now around on the right side, into the corner to Kinjul. He puts it up, or rather Beppler, he puts it up and good from 15 feet. Dick Beppler with 13 points. Swarthmore leads 41-39, 11:56 left. PMC calls time. Scott?
PMC has just been run off the floor in the last minute and a half, but Swarthmore came up with 6 straight points to take a 41-39 lead. The PMC timeout was to break up the Garnet momentum. One interesting point was the PMC coach, in the middle of one of his plays, got up and started yelling at his team to move into a circular offense where everybody, a 5-man crisscross, where everybody just makes semicircles around the outside of the key, passing the ball to one another, trying to tire out the Garnet defense. Obviously, he didn't want to go into this, but the Swarthmore comeback has forced him. Dick?
This particular offense PMC went into is the Michigan half shell. This puts all 5 men along the outer limits of the half court and essentially moves your big men away from the basket. The idea of it is to break up a zone by tiring out the big men, especially in Swarthmore's type of zone defense where the big men have to run from side to side as the ball shifts. This can be significant as the game goes on. Frank?
For PMC, a new man is in the game, number 34, Ed Flanagan, in for the first time. He gives off to Frau, and into the left corner, now to LaFlame. His pass batted out of bounds by Swarthmore. The inbound pass comes to Frau, and to Pauls. Now, the man who sat down is Skip McCauley, apparently. Now Flanagan has it on the left side for the Cadets, gives off at the top of the key to Pauls, back to Flanagan. To Pauls, holds high right, gives to Flanagan on the left side. And to Frau, he shoots it good from about 15 feet off on the left, and the score is tied. 41 all. The forecourt for Swarthmore, Scheckman has just come in to Mizell. And Swarthmore calls time just in time to avert a jump ball. Now there's 11:07 left. The score is knotted at 41.
Obviously, the strategy that Ace Hopstein tried to put in during the PMC timeout did not work, and he wants to realign his team. The referee came into the huddle of the team. I don't know what's going on down there, but everything seems to be okay now. And the coach is just urging on his players.
In the game now for Swarthmore, we have Scheckman, Mizell, Beppler, Deshay, and Jewell, I believe. confusion to the scoring table. How's that, Dick?
It seems that the official scorer has charged Swarthmore with taking 2 timeouts thus far, and as far as any of us can remember, we've only used 1. I don't know what the outcome of the discussion was, but the coach seems satisfied and sits down on the bench. Now back to action.
Scheckman passes to Mizell, back to Scheckman into the forecourt. Paul bounces it across the cross-court pass to Bepler. Into the corner to Jewell, tries to feed to Shea, batted out by Stasinsky, and still Swarthmore's ball. Scheckman will make the inbound play. Passes to Craig Deshay to Mizell. Mizell with a bounce pass into the corner to Jewell. To Scheckman. And I don't know what Scheckman was trying to do as he throws it right out of bounds. Now for PMC, Flanagan dribbles into the forecourt. It gives up on the left side to Frau. Into the corner to LaFlame. Stasinsky drives in for the layup. Around, no good. Tap, no good by Powell. Rebound by Scheckman. Scheckman into the forecourt for Swarthmore to Bepler. Cross-court pass to Mizell. Starts to drive down the lane, but he was walking. PMC's ball, 10-16 left in the ballgame. The score is 41 apiece. Flanagan holds it at the top of the key for the Cadets. Into the corner to Powell. Shot, no good. Rebound Jewell to Deshay and to Scheckman, who will bring it up to the Garnet. Across the 10-second stripe. PMC guarding him closely. He gets the ball across the court to Mizell. Mizell holding it back to Scheckman. And into the corner to Bepler. He feeds Jewell at the baseline. Jewell goes up, puts it up too hard, around, no good. Rebound Stasinsky. To Flanagan, who will bring it up for the Cadets. 9:36 left in the game. It's still 41 all. This is WSRN, the voice of the Garnet on the road. Frau with the ball in the forecourt for the Cadets. To Flanagan, he shoots off the rim short, no good. Loose ball picked up by Stasinsky. Feeds LaFlame under the basket, up and in. LaFlame with the basket. He now has 11 points. PMC leads 43-41. Scheckman drives into the forecourt for Swarthmore. Almost loses the ball. Now he gets it off to Bepler. He's free and he hits from 10 feet on the left side. Dick Bepler with 6 points this half, 15 for the game, and the score's knotted up at 43 again. Flanagan in the forecourt for the Cadets. To Frau. To LaFlame now on the left side. Back to Frau and to LaFlame. LaFlame now dribbles towards the top of the key, gets it back into the corner to Powell. Shot is long off the rim. Rebound by Frau. To Flanagan. Pauls and out of LaFlame on the left side. Goes into the corner and passes it to Mizell. To Swarthmore. Mizell to Bepler. Bepler driving down the court. Ball's loose. Tries to go up for a shot. And I think the referee's going to call a jump ball. Bepler couldn't find the handle. Tried to get the shot off anyway. And there will be a jump ball. Bepler and Stasinsky. And Dick is giving away 6 inches on this. Pass controlled, of course, by PMC. Paul to Flanagan. Into the forecourt. Throws it to Paul, who didn't really expect the ball, but there it was. So he grabs it, gives it back to Flanagan. To Frau. Into the corner to LaFlame. Back out to Frau. To LaFlame. Into the corner to Paul. To Flanagan. Now to LaFlame at the top of the key. He drives into about 8 feet. Stops, puts it up and in. Mike LaFlame. And PMC is up by a bucket again. PMC 45, Swarthmore 43, 7:50 left in the game. Scheckman into the forecourt for Swarthmore. Flanagan bats the ball out of bounds away from him. Back into Scheckman. The referee's whistle blows again as he puts it into play. Let's see what the trouble is this time.
Frank, it looks like one of the players, it looks like it might be Frau, has lost the contact or got something in his eye. Both referees are standing over with him at the edge of the court. He's shaking his head. He seems to be okay. It was Ed Flanagan, excuse me. Okay, play is about to begin. Back to Frank with the play-by-play.
Thanks, Scott. Scheckman passing into Bepler, right back to Scheckman. Ball dribbles to the top of the key, now passes cross court to Mizell, back to Scheckman. On the left side, he gives it off to Bepler in the left corner. He feeds Jewell, goes up. Shot is no good. I believe he was fouled in the act by Mike Straczynski. The cadets don't like the call. That's the first foul on Straczynski. And after 12:32 of this half, the first foul of the half on PMC and only the second of the half. This is an incredibly foul-free ball game. Now for PMC, Skip Gamble comes into the game and he replaces Straczynski. Ken Jewell goes to the line for Swarthmore. He's been having trouble with his foul shots all season. First one is good. The second is also good. He comes up with two big ones when they're needed. That nets the score again at 45 all. Flanagan, as it for PMC, is off to Gamble. Now into the left corner to LaFlame. Back to Gamble. Gives it out to Frall. In the left corner. Right back out. Frall. Shot no good. Gamble with the rebound up and in. Skip Gamble with his first point. PMC goes up 47-45. 7:04 left. Scheckman into the forecourt. To Deshay. Turns around, puts it in from about 10 feet. Just off to the left side of the lane. Craig Deshay with 9 points. That ties the score again at 47 all. 6:50 left. Gamble to LaFlame in the forecourt. LaFlame puts it up off the rim. No good. Frall fights for the rebound. Loses to Jewell. To Deshay and to Scheckman into the forecourt. Flanagan almost fouls him. Now to Bepler. Dick shoots around and off the rim. No good. Rebound by Gamble. He gives it to 34. Flanagan brings it into the forecourt for the cadets and gives to Paul. Paul pulls to the top of the key. To Frall, back to Paul, back to Frall, into the left corner, now to LaFlame. Bounces it to Flanagan. He feeds Gamble, drives in and puts on the layup. Skip Gamble. And it's 49-47 PMC. 6:06 left in the ball game. Paul Scheckman. Into the forecourt for Swarthmore. He passes to Mizell. Right back to Scheckman. Bounce pass intended for Bepler out off the foot of LaFlame. Still Swarthmore's ball. Scheckman will pass it in to Jewell in the corner. His bounce pass taken away by Gamble. This is deflected into Gamble's hands by Flanagan. Gamble gives it to Flanagan now. He brings it into the forecourt. To Gamble. Turns around. Puts it up. No good. Rebound. Craig Deshay. Ball's loose. Ken Jewell picks it up. Here's Scheckman who will bring it into the forecourt. 5:35 left. PMC 49, Swarthmore 47. Paul Scheckman in the forecourt on the left side. Now he gets to the court to Mizell on the right side. Ball is almost taken away from him, and now he's tied up. Don Mizell will be jumping against Ed Flanagan. Whistles blow. Now we're ready to go. Tap controlled by PMC, by Frall. He gets it to Flanagan. Into the forecourt for the cadets. PMC playing deliberately now. To Frall. Into the left corner to LaFlame. Bounce pass on the baseline to Gamble. Out to Frall now. He shot no good from about 15. Rebound Jewell to Bepler to Scheckman now into the forecourt for Swarthmore. Garnett trying to tie the ball game up again. To Bepler, tries to pass down the baseline to Jewell. It's stolen away from him. Swarthmore gets the ball right back. Deshay shoots from the corner, no good. Fight for the rebound. A lot of people fall down. There's going to be a jump ball, I believe, with Scheckman and Flanagan. And Phil Miller checks into the game, replacing Don Mizell. Scheckman and Flanagan jumping. The top will be be controlled by Swarthmore. Bill Miller has it near the midcourt stripe. Gives it to Scheckman now on the left side, into the corner to Bepler. Turns around, shoots, no good. Fights for the rebound, Swarthmore's ball. Shea has it to Scheckman, drives in, feeds Jewell, turns around, puts it up and in from 5 feet. Great play for Swarthmore. 8 points for Jewell. The game is tied at 49 all. 4:14 left. Flanagan into the forecourt for the Cadets. Gives it off to Frau on the left side. He passes intended for Gamble at the top of the key, batted away by Bepler into the arms of Paul Scheckman. Scheckman dribbles down, shoots from 10 feet, it's good. Swarthmore now back into the lead, 51-49, 3:50 left in the ball game. Flanagan into the forecourt from PMC to Pauls, back to Flanagan into Pauls in the right corner. Back to Flanagan to the top of the key, around on the left side to Frau, back to Flanagan into Pauls in the corner. He puts it up, no good. Fight for the rebound. Pauls loose, Jewell to Scheckman. Swarthmore's ball. Scheckman drives into the forecourt. It's knocked out of bounds by LaFlame. And it's still Swarthmore's ball. Timeout called. 3.5 minutes left. The score, Swarthmore 51, PMC 49. Scott?
The tempo of the game has picked up considerably. PMC would like to sit on the ball and take the sure shot, but at this point they can't afford to. Their 5-point lead has dwindled and is now gone. Swarthmore leads 51-49. Swarthmore, on the other hand, is trying to run with the ball and open up an even bigger lead. At this point, it seems like Swarthmore is playing stronger basketball and could conceivably open up a wider gap. With 3:30 left in the game, the score is Swarthmore 51, PMC 49. Dick?
There's been a sudden turn of events in the team rebounding so far the second half. While way behind the last time out, Swarthmore now is leading by 1 rebound in the second half. Interesting to notice is Duffy Burns, who was pulled early in the first half and sat out the rest, and pulled early in the second half, has not yet returned to the lineup. Back to Frank.
In the second half, Swarthmore has outscored the Cadets 26-19. For Swarthmore on the court, Bepler, Scheckman, Miller, Deshay, and Jewell. For PMC, LaFlame, Flanagan, Bob Evans back in the ball game, along with Frau and Gamble. Inbound pass to Deshay and to Scheckman now. Scheckman dribbling near the midcourt stripe, guarded very, very closely by Flanagan. Flanagan ties him up as Scheckman slips on the wet floor, falls down, and there'll be a jump ball, Scheckman and Flanagan. Scheckman pointing to the wet spot on the floor.
As Dick mentioned before, the floor is wet, and Scheckman wanted an out-of-bounds ball for the Garnet because supposedly it's the home team's responsibility to keep the court in good condition.
Half controlled by Swarthmore. Deshay feeds Bepler, drives in for the layup, and as he goes up, he is fouled by Mike LaFlame. 3 fouls on LaFlame. And Bepler, Swarthmore's leading foul shooter, goes to the line. He's 1 for 1 this evening, 29 for 33 on the season. And he'll be shooting 2. First one is good. Swarthmore by 3, its biggest lead. Second one around and good. Swarthmore by 4 points, 53-49, 3:10 left in the ball game. 17 points for Dick Bepler. Flanagan into the forecourt for the Cadets. Gives to Evans on the left side. Evans passes into the corner to LaFlame. His shot is short. Fight for the rebound. LaFlame gets his own rebound. Turns around, puts it up. No good. Tap, no good. Again, no good. Ball goes out of bounds off PMC, off Flanagan. And it's Swarthmore's ball. Inbound pass comes from Scheckman to Miller, right back to Scheckman. Flanagan picks him up in the backcourt. Scheckman goes into the forecourt with it, though. He's in trouble now, looking for a free man. Gets it away to Jewell. He slips, falls down. Loose ball. Scheckman and Flanagan will jump again. And they ought to try to dry this floor, Scott.
Well, the referee has called a timeout. He's speaking to the other referee. They're having a conference at Jewell got ready to jump against Flanagan. Now, Stasinski just came in for Gamble, and both teams are going to their benches. I don't know who the timeout is on. It is official timeout, and it seems as if the captain and the coach are talking to one of the officials. That is the captain and the coach of PMC. Now one of the officials is walking over to the janitor, and the janitor is walking out with his large broom to wipe up the floor. I don't know how much good this will do. He did it at the beginning of the game and halftime, and the floor still stays slippery, so we'll have a prolonged timeout. Here's Dick.
It doesn't seem to be water on the floor. It seems to be the white chalk substance used in wrestling matches for traction with a wrestling shoe. While it gives the wrestlers a lot of traction, it gives zero traction to guys in sneakers. And therefore, players have been falling around all over. The mop doesn't seem to be picking it up, and I think it's going to continue as a problem.
Well, the Garden is out on the floor. They look pretty impatient. They're talking among themselves. They want to get on with it. They've got a lot of momentum. Here come the players from PMC. The lineup is Frau, Evans, Stasinski, LaFlamme, and Flanagan. Here's Frank with the play-by-play.
Jump ball will be between Flanagan and Scheckman. Half controlled by Swarthmore. Deshay has it to Bepler in the forecourt. Now to Scheckman. Swarthmore will be taking its time now. Scheckman dribbling around with it into the corner to Deshay as he tries to dribble out of, bat it out of his hands into that of Stasinski. Stasinski gives up to Flanagan, who brings it into the forecourt for the Cadets. To Stasinski, turns around, goes up, passes it to Evans. Evans shoots, no good. Loose ball. Rebound. Still loose. Scheckman with it now. And let's see what they're going to call. They're going to call PMC's ball, and Scheckman got it. He fell down and went sliding out of bounds with the ball. The Flame passing it into Evans from PMC. 2:06 left in the ball game. Stasinski. Shot, no good. Rebound PMC. The Flame has it. Fake twice. Puts it up. Off the rim. No good. Ball still loose. Flanagan now has it. It's DeFrau in the corner. Turns around. Puts it up and good. Al with 16 points. He puts PMC back to within a bucket. 53-51 Swarthmore. 1:43 left in the ball game. Scheckman into the forecourt to Jewell. Loose ball. Back to Scheckman. Everyone falls down on the slippery floor, and I believe it's going to be Swarthmore's ball now. Oh, but now they call foul on Flanagan.
Flanagan tried a cross-body block on Scheckman as he was running for the ball. Flanagan saw he couldn't make it, tried to block Scheckman out. Scheckman seems to be shaken up a bit, but he's standing at the line getting ready to take his first shot. Frank?
1:38 left in this ball game. Scheckman set. His shot is good. And Swarthmore leads by 3, 54-51. Skip McCauley checking back into the ball game as Flanagan leads. McCauley with the inbound pass to a Flame. Back to McCauley in the forecourt into the corner to Evans. Now to a Flame into McCauley. He shoots. Round, no good. Rebound PMC. LaFlame puts it up from 8. No good. Stasinski chips it in. 54 for Swarthmore. 53 for PMC. 1:19 left in the game. Swarthmore set to put the ball into play. Don Mizell now comes in for Scheckman. Swarthmore trying to get to the ball. Into play. The inbound pass comes from Mizell to Miller, now to Jewell. Swarthmore in the forecourt. 1:12 left. To Bepler. He goes up for the shot. It's good. Dick Bepler from the foul line. Bepler with 19 points. Swarthmore up by 3. 56-53. 1:05 left in the game. The clock is running. LaFlame has it in the forecourt for PMC to McCauley. Into the corner to Brown. Puts it up. No good. Rebound Stasinski. It's good. Mike Stasinski with 14 points. PMC back to within a point. Inbound pass to Miller. Into the forecourt to Mizell. Hightail having trouble controlling it. The whistles blow. What do they call? They call I think they call a foul on Skip McCauley.
The ball was bouncing around wild there, and as Mizell went to pick it up, McCauley hit him on the arm, and he goes to the line with one shot.
His shot is no good. Straczynski rebounds for PMC. The Cadets have the ball. They trail by 1 and there's 40 seconds left. PMC calls time. 38 seconds left on the clock. Swarthmore, 56. PMC, 55. Scott?
It seems as if PMC may try to play it out for one last basket. However, behind by 1 point, it could be disastrous if they don't make their play. It'll be interesting to see what kind of defense the Garnet comes out with for the last 38 seconds as they lead by 1 point, 56-55. Dick?
It would be indeed foolish for PMC to save for the last shot now. Being a point down, they'll have to score as quickly as they can and hope to hold the Garnet. Should they wait for the last shot, it would be very poor strategy. I should mention that now PMC had 20 offensive rebounds in the second half. This could be the reason that the game is as close as it is now. In fact, there was 5 shots taken for the last 2 baskets by PMC. Back to live action now.
The Garnet is lining up as if they'll stay in their zone defense. And out come the players from PMC. Here's Frank.
Okay, 38 seconds left to play. Ball comes inbound from McCauley. Flame back to McCauley. McCauley on the left side. Flame holds high right to McCauley. Flame to McCauley. They're playing catch with it. Flame into the corner to Evans in the right corner. Flame to McCauley. To Evans, he shoots from 8. Off the rim, no good. Swarthmore ball. Bepler to Miller. Ball slow, picked up by LaFlame of PMC to Evans. 10 seconds left. To McCauley, another PMC time with 8 seconds left. 8 seconds left. 56-55 Swarthmore.
Swarthmore got a lucky break as I don't know who missed the shot. It was a 10-foot shot. Missed. Swarthmore came down with the rebound after it hit the rim twice. Moving the ball up court, Bill Miller didn't pick it up right away and lost it as a PMC player almost got him called for an offensive foul. With 8 seconds left, PMC will not have time to hold the ball for any last shot. They have to take it right away.
What can you say? Every time we come down here to PMC, we have a squeaker, and they can't get much tighter than this. For Swarthmore, this is tough. 2 games like this in succession. And the team really deserves to win one of them. The fans back there in Swarthmore, keep your fingers crossed. 8 seconds to go. Swarthmore leads by 1. PMC has the ball. If you've got any prayers that'll work for you, use them now.
Swarthmore is staying in their zone defense.
McCauley, inbound to LaFlame. To 5 seconds. 4, 3, LaFlame into the corner to Evans. He puts it up. Off the rim, no good. Straczynski up. It's good. It counts, and PMC has won. PMC has won the ball game, 57-56. And Swarthmore is walking around on the court there bewildered. I think that shot was after the buzzer, but well, it was really close. Evans shot from 8 feet with 3 seconds left. It went off the rim, no good. At the buzzer, Straczynski tapped it in. PMC wins, 57-56. Here's Scott.
An unbelievably close game, and the referee's decision at the end of the game did decide it. However, we are right above where the shot was taken, and there is a bit of a ledge in the way. We can't be sure whether the shot was taken before or after the buzzer. A recap for the second half, the whole game as a matter of fact. PMC opened up 28-25 score. The game was played very closely for the first half, the first part of the second half, with the Garnet taking 2-point lead this time. With about 5 minutes to go, the Garnet took a 4-point lead, their biggest lead of the game, and PMC came back to within 2 points. At the end of the game, with all the running and fouling going on, the game possession of the ball, the Garnet ended up with a 56-55
this is Bob Leonard here back at the studio, and we have a note here on the wrestling match that was here in the field house tonight. The final score was Swarthmore 17, Delaware 13, so we got that one at least. And this tight game here certainly made up for the game we didn't get on the air Saturday night because of the weather. But be sure to listen to the next game, as Frank said, which we will have after intercession, which will be Wednesday night, February 7th. And now here we want to turn over to Peter Cohen and his Sounds of Today.